Hi, everybody. Before we get to another great interview, the Two Opinionated podcast could really use your help. And it's easy, it's free. IMDb, which is the entertainment database, imdb.com, named us a top 100 podcast. We came in at number 82. That's a big deal because there's 15 million podcasts and growing. So to be named to anybody's top 100 list, pretty big deal for us. And the way you can help is to go to imdb.com, look up the Two Opinionated podcast, and that's it. Just bringing our page up. That traffic really helps us out. Our YouTube channel is MeisterCon Pod. All we ask is that you subscribe. It's also free, but that really helps us to attract these amazing guests that we keep bringing on the program. And that's it. 2 easy ways for you to support us, and we would really appreciate the help. Now let's get to that interview. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Two Opinionated. I am so excited today. I've got singer, songwriter, music legend, Mark Farner with me. So welcome, Mark.
Thank you, Mike. Good to be with you, buddy.
You know, let me tell you how long I've been listening to your music. When I was just a boy, we had a 1975 station wagon. It was brand new at the time, but it came with an 8-track player, and we used to play Grand Funk Railroad on that 8-track all the time. We only had like 3 or 4 8-tracks, so we listened to that just constantly. And to this day, that's one of our favorite bands.
That's great.
But it's all because every trip we took, we'd listen to that 8-track over and over and over.
Did they ever jump tracks, Mike?
Oh, yeah.
You hit a bump and it goes like, what?
You might jump from the first track to like the 5th track.
Exactly. They all had that same characteristic, man. Yeah.
I kind of miss those 8-tracks. It was a little bit of a different sound on them.
Oh, yeah. And it was definitely analog, brother.
It was. Well, Mark, let's start this way. Tell me, you've been doing this for basically your entire life. So tell me a little bit about what got you started into music. You know, why'd you want to go into that? That's not an easy profession to do.
Well, my mother came from Leachville, Arkansas, when she was 16 years old with the family that moved to Flint, Michigan, Mike, for high-paying auto factory jobs.
Oh, okay.
And once somebody in the family got a job, the word went out. Everybody came north. I mean, Grandpa Cotton, Uncle Woody, Uncle Brian, all these people. We all got together every Sunday, and we'd have a jam session. Well, they would. I remember being 3 and 4 years old, looking up at these big people playing these instruments, you know, banjo and fiddle and guitar. My dad blew saxophone, and all the women sang like angels. That family harmony, man. And I was just eat up with that stuff. I loved it, man. And so it became part of me.
Yeah.
Because I love it so much. And the potential that music has. I've gone into maximum security prisons.
Yeah.
And rocked. And the whole attitude changed. They was smiling, came alive. 500 inmates sitting there. And the chaplain says, before you go on that stage, I want you to know one thing. Says, if you mention the word Jesus Christ, about half these guys are going to get up and they're going to walk out. And I said, okay. But at the end of our little program, about an hour and a half, that chaplain, he came down there and he said, don't you guys don't stop. You keep doing exactly what you are doing, and don't listen to guys like me to tell you they're going to walk out. Nobody walked out. because we're just, uh, it's the love of the music.
That's
We
right.
love when, it really is. And when you got that kind of a thing, you can relate to anybody. So it started at a young age with me. And then when I no longer could play football in, junior high school, um, I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
I was a hero, man. I was a defensive linebacker over center, man. I was like the roving reporter, and we were undefeated.
Oh
So
boy.
and the team, we all hung out together. We were buddies. That's why we were undefeated. We all knew each other, like, we every day we hung with each
Well, you
other.
probably grew up playing together.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was, and this doctor tells my mother, well, he's not going to be playing football this year because I got injured in a scrimmage with the varsity. He's not going to be running track either, Mrs. Farner. And I'm going, oh, And my mom got, for my 15th birthday, she got me 6 guitar lessons and rented a acoustic guitar for me to learn on. So I took 3 of the lessons, and the guitar teacher was out hunting ringneck pheasant and shot himself in the foot with a 12 gauge after the 3rd lesson. So he called my mother and said, Mark's going to have to just go on and watch the guys in the high school band up there that's got a little band, and pick up. He's already picking up the stuff we're playing back and forth. And by the 3rd lesson, I was playing some leads and he was playing rhythm, and then I would play rhythm and he would play the lead just to get the feel. So it was natural, and it's remains natural to today, brother.
I love that. My grandfather was a Baptist minister, and he had 10 brothers and sisters, and they used to get together at reunions and would play. Every one of them was musical, and I used to love that. It never took with me. I've got no musical ability, but I enjoyed listening to it, and it obviously had an effect with most of the family because most of my family is musical. I just the best I could do was this podcast. I just get on here and talk.
Yeah, man, it's great. Well, that's needed.
Well, somebody's got to talk to all you great musicians that are out there.
That's right.
Well, so how did you get together with the guys from Grand Funk? How did that come about?
Well, Don, the drummer, and I were both in this 5-piece band. There was Rod Lester was a bass player, Craig Frost was a keyboard player, Kenny Rich was a guitar player, Don Brewer was the drummer,
Yeah.
and I was just stand up front and sing lead. That's it. I sang the songs and they backed me up, and we got waylaid. There's a 1969, the worst snowstorm in the history of the world, hit the coast of the United States, and we were staying in summer cottages on Cape Cod.
Oh,
and it froze down.
I was gonna say, I bet that got cold.
Oh, buddy. Yeah, there's no insulation to start with. And then the only thing there was these little space heaters, and we just stayed huddled around those little space heaters. We were out there. I mean, it was stranded for a couple of weeks. It was not fun. And during this time, we run out of food. The pipes froze, so we didn't have any flushing toilets. We didn't have a shower, dude.
Oh,
we were
awful.
melting down snow in a pan to have water to drink. And we did have oatmeal, nothing to put in it, but we had oatmeal. And we just yeah, you ain't kidding. And we rationed it out. And finally, one day we were able to get up to the East Sandwich general store, and the guy let the drummer call his mom, and she Western Unioned enough money up to a drugstore that we had to hitchhike up to after they got the bridge open. And we hitchhiked up there, got the cash, went this, and with cash, we rented a van. You can't do that today.
Not today. Nope.
No. But we did, and we packed all of our equipment in there and went home. And by the time we got home, now listen, we didn't have any there was no such thing as a cell phone.
Right.
We had no communications, Mike. It was like when we got home, two of the guys were married and their wives were threatening divorce. You ever do that to me again? It's like, oh. So I talking with the drummer and said, listen, we need to start a band with just no women involved, nobody married, because that broke us up. That broke us up. We can't, I don't even want them to have a girlfriend. We're talking, we're just young guys trying to figure out what went wrong.
That's right.
I said to Brewer, I said, why don't we just do a 3-piece? He says, well, who would we get? I said, I don't know. There's got to be somebody out there. And we went to Delta Promotions, which was the outfit that sent us to the East Coast, and they were like our booking agency. They told us if we went out there and played and did some of these gigs and we did good, then we could go back and make some real money. Well, we was into making real money. We were, just a band. And that's all we ever did was a band. We were a garage band. So just for the opportunity of going, we took off and did it. And so we went up to Delta Promotions to tell these guys what we thought of their promotions, because we found out we were actually getting paid and they told us we were having to play for free. So they were taking the money, and I don't know what they were doing. They did buy us a couple of bags of groceries and brought them out to the Cape before the snowstorm hit.
That's nice of them.
Nice of them. That was back when you could fill a grocery bag for $24.
That's right.
So anyways, we're up at Delta Promotions, so we're going to give these guys a piece of our mind and tell them just what we thought of them after we found out about the money. And we're sitting there in the waiting room, and it's also a rehearsal facility. So we're listening, and you could hear like the bass and the bass drum through the walls. Not much of anything else, but and I looked over at Brewer and I said, dude, are you listening to that bass player in there? He says, yeah, I'm sitting here thinking whoever that is knows how to do it. And I said, we need to see who that is and see if maybe that's our bass player.
Yeah.
Well, when they took a break, it was Question Mark and the Mysterians, and they were rehearsing at this facility. And Mel Shocker was playing bass for Question Mark. And when they took their break, I see him come out, and I went to school with Mel. We hung out together. We jammed together. I said, Melvin, man, what are you doing? He says, oh, I've been having this gig with Question Mark. I said, well, we're going to start a 3-piece band. And I was just thinking, man, would you want to be in it? He says, yeah, man, you just say where, when. I'm there. So we started.
Easy.
Yeah, man, it was. Yeah, they were kind of mad at him. I guess he crashed one of the vans, and the band was not really happy with him. And so it was time for him to leave anyway. So we hooked up the following week and started rehearsing in Flint, Michigan at the Union Hall.
That's amazing. That's amazing. What a good story. And the music has lasted.
Yeah.
That's pretty great. When are we going to get to see you in the Hall of Fame?
Well, I don't really know. I don't think that's going to happen. And the reason I don't think it's going to happen is because we don't have that brown ring around our lips. If you know what I'm talking about.
I do. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's all political. It ain't about numbers. It ain't about popularity. It ain't nothing about the people, the fans, the ones who put us up there, who made us famous in the first place. It's not about anything about them. They have no say in it, which sucks. It's kind of like being a citizen of the United States. We got no say in it.
Yeah, there's some truth to that.
Yeah.
Well, and like most things, it ends up being about money and power and politics and all that, and that screws it up. But I think just as a fan, and there's a lot of us out there, we think that you deserve to be in.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you, Mike. And maybe someday they'll have some kind of system where they actually take the recommendation and votes. I mean, everybody's
You'd think
got,
there'd be some type of vote.
yeah, there should be, and the people ought to be involved in it. It's crazy that they ain't.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. You think that that would be at least part of the calculation would be fan voting.
Absolutely.
I mean, that just makes sense.
Yeah, everybody's got a phone now.
Yeah, it's not like 1970 now. We all got those phones now. Some of us wish we didn't. So you got a new album out.
Yes,
Tell me about that.
Closer to My Home. And the Grand Funk album, Closer to Home,
Yeah.
contains a song, I'm Your Captain. I wrote
Yeah.
that song.
It's a great song.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. I prayed for that song. I wrote it after I'd gone to bed one night and I said my prayers and I put a PS on there and I said, God, please give me a song that would reach and touch the hearts of those you want to get to.
Yeah.
And I got up 3 o'clock in the morning. I always getting up writing words, not necessarily, most of them ain't songs. I mean,
Right.
most of them just turn out to be words on a paper. But so I'm writing and it's all coming fast, but I'm in a kind of a not fully conscious, and I'm kind of in this groggy state of my, I mean, I didn't drink or smoke or nothing. I mean, I was straight as an arrow, and I'm in this kind of, between heaven and earth state of mind.
Yeah.
And I knew if I, like songwriters, when we are writing, sometimes we'll go back to the first verse and we'll read that, and that'll help us get into the second verse. It'll help us, transform and go into, and then from the second to the chorus or to the bridge and back to another verse. But you got, you're constantly going back to the top and reading and going down. Keep refreshing where you're going, kind of keeps you on track. But I knew for some reason, if I was to stop where I was at and go back to the top and read, I would lose it. I had that vision. I had that,
Yeah.
I knew, stay right with it. But I was in that, man, it's this beautiful place that I was at. Uh, Everybody likes to think about, you know, uh, heaven, what it's like.
Sure.
And it's a beautiful thing. I died in 2012. I'll tell you about that later, but I had a pacemaker put in and I went into heaven. I didn't want to come back, but I I liken it to, that episode right in that song. I liken it to that halfway between heaven and earth because
Yeah.
of the euphoria that we feel when we check out of the bone suit. We're relieved and we know all things. But when I was writing that song, like I said, I knew I better not go back to the top and read. I've just got to keep writing. As I'm getting towards the end of this page, I'm like barely able to hold it together anymore. My energy, my strength is being minimized.
Yeah.
I'm fading, and man, I got the last of it done, and I was spent. And I put that thing on the nightstand, and I just rolled back under the sheet and finished it off. Got up in the morning, and I was out. I had a coffee on a table, and I looked at my George Washburn acoustic guitar sitting there in the stand, and I picked it up and I started playing bop 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 do 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 you. And I'm, wow, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. And I played a C chord that I had never made, the inversion of a C chord, and I'm looking at that thing and I'm thinking, man, I better remember this because this is a cool chord. I really love this chord, and as I'm thinking about that, uh, it was like, go get those words. Go get the words. I went, oh, yeah, the words. Maybe it's a song. Maybe it's a song. And I put it on the table and I hit the record button on my cassette recorder and recorded it. I sung it out. It just came as natural as anything. you know. Took it to rehearsal. We worked on it, and it became a big hit.
Yeah. Yeah, it did. Now I love that. So you're kind of revisiting, and you've got the album's out now, right?
Yeah. Well, no, it's good. The pre-release, it's on sale. And if you buy now before November 8th, which is
That's right.
actually the release date, if you buy now in the time period between now and November 8th, you will receive an autographed copy, whether it is the vinyl album, which is a red vinyl LP,
Oh, how
or
awesome.
the CD, which contains a bonus track that was written by Jim Peterick and myself called Friends Forever. There wasn't room for it on the vinyl. You know, I mean, vinyl's limited to how much
Right.
music you can put on it. And so the CD has that bonus track, but whether it is the CD or album that you purchase, it'll be autographed by yours truly.
I love that. Yeah, what a great idea.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, and
My,
people love to have those albums. You know, everybody's very nostalgic for the LPs and to be able to play that. But then you've got that extra song on the CD, so they may have to buy both.
I'm thinking, and albums, man, you can actually read the words.
Yeah.
I mean, it's big enough.
Well, you can have the CD for your car, maybe, and then the album.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I still got a CD player in my car.
Yeah, I do too, although I don't use it very often. It's there.
I never listen to the radio or CD or nothing in my car or truck, no matter what. I got to keep myself open for incoming.
Oh, I like that. Yeah. Yeah, you never know when an idea is going to hit. Yeah. I
Yeah,
like
man.
that. I like that. So, tell me a little bit about the songs on the album. Are they connected? Is there a theme? You know, is it just these are songs that I wrote and I love? You know, tell me about a little bit about them.
Uh, the theme is love.
Yeah.
And I'll be 76 the 29th of this month, this coming
No,
Sunday.
happy birthday.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
My wife's birthday is the 30th.
All right.
Yeah, you guys can celebrate together.
Yeah. Both couple of librarians.
That's right.
Yeah, the songs emphasize love and forgiveness, which is really the definition of love. You know,
Yeah,
it's
it really is. Yeah.
that's it. It's all about, you know, and what Jesus did is forgiveness. And that kind of love, that's the kind of love I experienced, brother, on the other side when I left my bone suit in 2012.
Well, yeah, what happened there? Tell me that story.
Well, I had a bundle branch block. And
Okay.
yeah, and
That
so
doesn't sound good.
my heart didn't get the squeeze message.
Yeah.
So that branch, that bundle of nerves, that whole branch didn't work. And so I was in a hotel. I was down in Detroit doing promotions. My wife was with me. Thank God Lisa was with me. And she said she came out of the bathroom and my left arm shot up in the air, my left leg shot up in the air, and I rolled out. I don't remember any of this,
Yeah.
any of it, man. And next thing you know, I'm coming around because these paramedics have got a oxygen mask on me, and they're zooming me into the ambulance. And I went over to Harper in Detroit, and they put me on an external pacemaker, and they were hitting me with such voltage with that pacemaker. There was 3 doctors with their backs turned to me, and they were all of 8 or 9 feet away from me.
Yeah.
They're looking at this big screen, you know, it's a monitor, and they're watching it, and wham, I get this, and I holler out because it was like they was plugging me into the wall, brother.
Ooh.
Hollered out, And my wife come running over. She says, "What's the matter, honey? What's the matter?" I said, "They're plugging me into the wall. I think they're fixing to kill me." Because I mean, it was hitting me bad. And
Wow.
I went into this spasm where it felt like there was something in the middle of my back, and it was winding me up, and I was just going backwards. She said, I did, my body went into some strange contortions, and they were making so much noise, and she's hollering at them she's going, "Hey, stop, you're killing him, hey." And they would not turn around. And this doctor runs in from the hallway and says, "What's going on in here?" And he was a real doctor, uh, and Lisa said, "Those guys are over there, they're fixing to kill him. They're hitting him with so much electricity." And the guy goes, uh, he starts talking. He goes, "Well, let me check." And he's like looking me over, and he sees all the wires on me and stuff. And they hit me, and it killed me. I knew that one of those blasts, if they weren't prevented, that was going to take me, because they'd almost done it like 2 or 3 times before that. Bam, I was gone. And as soon as I left my bone suit, I knew all things. I
Yeah.
knew I knew everything. I even knew what the purpose of these earth years was. What our whole journey here is all about. I knew that. I
That's
didn't
amazing. I'm guessing you don't remember it now.
know. You can't bring that stuff back. No, it'd be like plugging a 110 fan into 220.
That's
Smoke.
right. Well, so what were those doctors doing that they couldn't stop long enough to make sure you're okay?
Your guess is as good as mine, brother. I just know that Lisa, she was hollering loud as she could. And this doctor, when he got in there and he was examining me, uh, he looks at Lisa and he said, "Listen, we got him back twice. There ain't no guarantee we could get him back a third time. We got to get him to OR right now." I'm talking stat. And when he said that, it was like MASH 4077. It was like just people going, meow, 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 and I was zooming down the hallway. And next thing you know, I'm waking up in a recovery room, you know, with a pacemaker in me. So it's been there ever since. And I just got a replacement pacemaker about 5 months ago. Yeah,
Well, I'm
6
guessing
months.
you haven't really had any trouble since then.
No, no, it's been good as far as that goes. I mean, I don't like that I'm being kept alive by a battery. I mean,
That make you a little nervous.
but I'm still here,
That's
and
right.
I'm still making music, and the love that I am putting into the music is a love that's been tried, and it's true.
Yeah.
And what we're talking about with forgiveness, brother, it is something that I was shown on my re-entry into this bone suit the second time. I was shown that debt consciousness, DEBT, the worst 4-letter word in any language, not just financial debt.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the unfulfilled expectations of other people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking about the debt that we put ourselves into with regret. We have regret. Sometimes regret, people just, they cringe with, "Oh man, I did that. Oh my God." And they're holding themselves there, and they're just hating it. But all of that debt is accumulative, and it keeps piling up and piling up. And you might get past it in your mental state, but it is there. It is an anchor to your soul. It keeps, it's like this weight just keeps
Yeah, it holds
pushing.
you down.
Oh, and the more debt you get yourself into, or that you experience, the more debt that you experience, the more weight, and the further down we are in our human capacity. and our abilities to function as people. And so on the way back in, it was shown to me like, wow, I got the picture. Debt consciousness, the plague of mankind. Now, who controls our debt? We do. We do.
Yeah, I love that.
And who can relieve us of that debt? When we understand, when we have it defined for us, we set ourselves free. No one else can. No one.
Yeah, I love that.
Nobody's going to come along and whap you on the head or you in it. You know, that ain't going to happen.
You ought to write a book about that.
Well, it'll be in my next book. I'm telling you. I think it's important that people know about debt consciousness, and that we are the ones in charge of setting ourselves free. Hey, every day before I put my feet out on the floor, I'm saying, Lord, please show me where that is. I know there's more debt. I know there's memories of things that I have within me. Show me where those anchors are so I can take the bolt cutters to that chain and set myself free from this debt consciousness.
Well,
Because
we all carry around that stuff,
yeah,
and it does drag us down. So
yeah,
that's amazing if you found a way to maybe cut some of that off, because it's difficult. Things happen as you go through your life, and you
yeah,
kind of weigh yourself down with guilt or whatever it is,
yeah.
and we don't really think about it. We just kind of deal with it. But how great would it be if we could all kind of set ourselves free from that?
Yeah, we can't. We got to define it. I I want I want people to know that certain things lead to an indebtedness, and we should have a list that everybody puts something that maybe snared them, uh, puts that down. So we got a
That's right.
visual reference of things to avoid in life.
Yeah,
Seriously, man, I think it would help.
I agree with that. Yeah, what a great story. That's kind of inspirational, because it could have easily went the other way and you wouldn't be here.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think that's part of why I am still here. And the minor fact that I never played slide guitar before I died, but I never played slide till I died, Clyde. But now I was sitting there with my acoustic, my Taylor guitar. I got a CE 616 beautiful Taylor, and in my drawer I got capos and picks and all kind of things in there, and I had this little glass pinky slide, a Dunlop 212, a little tiny, and I stuck that on my pinky. I had never fooled with it before, but I started, and for some reason, man, I was like, "What? That sounds good. What?" And it started, feeding me. And so I think very possibly I must have picked up something on the other side, you know,
Might
and
unlock a talent you didn't know you had.
yeah, or brought part of somebody else back with me.
Yeah, that's right. Now I love that story. Good for you, Mark. That's something I think a lot of people would love to hear about and to explore, because I'm sure there's other people that have had similar experiences and probably just never really put them into words.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of slide on on my new album. It's part of who I am now.
Well, so what do your buddies say that you've been playing guitar for all these years, and all of a sudden you're using the slide? What do they think about that? And they're like, he's got a few new tricks.
Well, Pat Travers is a great slide player,
Yeah.
and he was telling me, uh, man, there's some of these guys They don't even tune up to a chord. They just leave it in standard tuning, and they put a pinky on there. And he says, it makes me sick. Well, I didn't know that that was going to be me.
Right.
So what I done was I sent Pat, I recorded it on my phone, and I just sitting at the kitchen table with that flat top, and I started playing a little bit of the slide. I said, this is it. And I'm talking to Pat Travers. I'm saying, this is it, buddy. Now listen, I'm doing this. I already recorded this part, but now listen, this goes with it. And, he texts me back and goes, Farner, I hate you. I love that guy. We're good friends. Yeah.
Yeah, that's terrific. Well, and that's the type of thing that you can only give somebody a hard time like that that's a good friend of yours.
Yeah, absolutely, man. That's what you got to.
Yeah, you got to. So the album is called Closer to My Home, and it's out November the 8th. Anything else you want us to know about this album? It's been a little while since you've released a new album, so kind of exciting.
Yeah, it's been 18 years.
Yeah. A little bit of time.
Well, it's done with Mark Slaughter producing it.
Okay.
And Mark Slaughter is an excellent producer. He is a good musician, a good friend. And I think the work that we did together, that people are really going to enjoy it. If you got any rock and soul in you at all, this album's songs are going to appeal to you. And there's one in there that's is I wrote it for my first son, Jason, because I watched him come into the world, and my wife and I cried, and then watching him grow up. It's called Tiny Fingers.
Oh,
and it's
nice.
it's acoustic guitar and keyboard. And Lisa and I lost our youngest boy, Jesse, in 2018.
Yeah.
He was quadriplegic on life support, and he died in 2018. And my friend who plays piano on this track lost his daughter around the same time, a 20-some-year-old gal. And he had been after me for years because I wrote this song. My boy that I wrote it about is 45 years old now. A long time ago. And my friend heard me play it one time, and he kept saying, Farner, man, you got to record that. You got to record it. Did you record Tiny Fingers yet?
Right.
So I called him up, Mike. I said, you got to play on this. He said, what? I said, I'm recording Tiny Fingers. Oh, man, you tell me where and when. I'll be there. So we got it done. And I think moms and dads are really going to relate to it. But the children are going to relate to it, too.
Yeah, I think so. If it's talking about that relationship, too, between father and son, that's something I think a lot of us would appeal to us.
Yep.
Yeah, well, that's terrific. Well, Mark, thank you for taking a little bit of time. It's been terrific. I'm such a fan. I love hearing that you're bringing out new music, because I know you can still play, and your voice still sounds terrific. So,
thank you.
Appreciate that. That's awesome. Is this a one-time thing, or are we going to continue to get new music from you?
Well, it took us 2 years to get this done, because Slaughter's a touring musician and I'm a touring musician. And between the two of us touring, we just did it when we could do it. But I am committed to keeping up with my heart and what comes into my heart, and my ears, my antennas are up and open, and I'm open for business when it comes to new music, especially if I have an opportunity to send some love out there, brother.
I love that. Yeah, that's so great. And Mark, thank you again. Before I let you go, where can we find your music? Where can we find you on social media?
It's markfarner.com, And if you go over there and look at the store, everything that I sell is made in the USA. I have never put my name on any foreign merchandise, on any foreign garment. It's all USA made. I believe in this country, and I'm supporting, I'm doing my part, and I'm trying to show people how to do their part. So get over there and buy one of my t-shirts, y'all.
Yeah, I was on your website. It's really well done. It's easy to navigate. A lot of good stuff on there.
Thank you. And social media, it's Mark Farner's American Band.
Yeah. Yeah, it came right up. Do you have a favorite song from back in those days?
I'm your captain.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
that was
it.
pretty great. That's pretty great. Are you going to be touring to play this new music?
Yes, sir. Yep, we got dates coming up, and we got dates that our agent from TKO, Jim Lenz, is putting together a tour to back this album up, and we're looking for a summer full of music, man.
Oh, I love that. You know, my wife has worked for Live Nation for 25 years.
All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit her up. We'll come to a show for sure.
Okay. All right.
All right, sir. Hang on one second. Mark Farner, singer-songwriter, Grand Funk Railroad, now has his own stuff out there. Of course, he's been doing his own stuff for 30 years. Just terrific. The album is Closer to My Home, and it's loaded with just terrific songs, music. And if you order it before the release date, November 8th, he'll autograph it for you. So make sure that that you do that and you support Mark and this terrific music. Maybe we'll get them into the Hall of Fame someday. I think they definitely deserve to be there. I was trying to think what my favorite Grand Funk song was. Probably Some Kind of Wonderful. I always loved Locomotion, their version of it. We're an American Band is terrific as well. When I announced that Mark was coming on the show, We're an American Band was probably the song that I heard most from people that were excited that Mark was coming on. So just terrific. So happy that we got to connect. One of the great things about this podcast is I've got to meet a ton of entertainment people, actors, producers, directors, all of that, writers. But I've also got to meet just some wonderful musicians. So if you're a music fan, we've got a music playlist. Definitely check that out. We've had David Sanchez from Bruce Springsteen's band. We've had Andrea Witt. We've been lucky to speak to just some terrific musicians. Struggle Jennings has been on. It's there's a bunch. I could go on, but go and look. You'll be excited, and there's a lot of really great stuff on there. Our YouTube channel is MeisterCon Pod. Please subscribe. It's free. Really helps us out. Our website is meistercon.com. Right now, you can find about 850 episodes on there, audio and video versions. So please check those out as well, meistercon.com. Thank you guys so much. Till next time. Bye, everybody.